Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tier 7 Premium American Heavy Cruiser USS Anchorage. This ship is available right now in the campaign, aka the Admiralty backing, for the 100 rank reward ship. So you guys can pick this up right now if you guys do all 100 levels of the current campaign. So yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of a review, and we're gonna take a look at the loadout, the specs, the commander build, and of course we're gonna show some gameplay of this ship, and I'm gonna give you guys my honest rundown of the Anchorage. So nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we got aiming systems mod 1 for the upgrades here. We got propulsion mod 2. We have concealment systems mod 1. And finally, we're running main battery mod 3. For the loadout, we have high explosive, we have armor piercing. That's right, the ship also comes with torpedoes. Those torpedoes actually are pretty good. We're going to talk about that here in the specs. You do have some standard damage control parties, 3 sonars, and 3 smoke generators, and 3 repair parties. So, you don't have radars on the Anchorage, so that's something to keep in mind. This is more of a, I find, a support cruiser. It's a smoke support cruiser, so really you're going to be depending on spotting and stuff like that. You're not going to be wanting to be going out there and being super aggressive because, well, I find it that this ship is more best suited by just smoking up and burning things down. So we'll talk more about that later. We got all these boosters on. We have the Anchorage flag, which looks pretty nice. It's got some mountains, got a bear. If you guys are not aware, the city of Anchorage is up in Alaska, so this flag does kind of suit it for sure. And also the ship comes with this Type 9 camouflage. It looks very good. I always love the look of the American Type 9 camos. The navy blue, the gray, the black. Oh, I love it. It looks good. It's a good looking ship. It's very sleek. I like it. Taking a look at the specs, we've got 41,800 hit points, which is pretty good. We have 6 through 206 millimeters of armor, and we have 16% torpedo damage reduction. Not very good. Don't take torpedoes if you can help it. For the main batteries, now this is where the ship really shines, is you have 4 triple turrets, and each one of those shells are 203 millimeter 8-inch guns. They are Mark 15s. They shoot out to 18.5 kilometers on my build. We've got a 12.4 second reload, which is on the high end for American heavy cruisers, but I think it is definitely a balancing factor because you get 3 extra guns. So, compared to Baltimore and Rochester and Wichita's, just like that. So, the 180-degree turn time for the turrets is 30 seconds, which is pretty bad. For the HE shell maximum damage, it's 2,800 with a 17% chance of setting fire. And finally, for the armor-piercing shells, we have 5,000 maximum AP shell damage with a Citadel, of course. Taking a look at the secondary armament, we do have some 127mm Mark 24 guns that shoot out to 5.2 kilometers with a 6-second reload. And each one of those shells has an 8% chance of setting fires. And we also have some more of those 127mm guns, but they are the double turrets, and they are 38 caliber Mark 29s that shoot out to 5.2 kilometers with a 6-second reload. Same fire chance, same damage on those shells. But let's be real though, if you're having to use your secondaries on a cruiser, especially like an American cruiser, you're probably playing the cruiser wrong, you know what I mean? Anyway, for the torpedoes, yeah, that's right, this ship comes with torpedoes, and they're actually pretty damn good torpedoes. You have 4 per side, 1 quadruple launcher on each side of the ship. They are 533mm torpedoes. They have an 87-second reload, 6-second 180-degree turn time, with a 19,000 maximum damage. And the torpedo detectability is on the pretty bad side, 1.4 kilometers, 10.5 kilometer range for these torpedoes, along with a 66-knot torpedo speed. So, yeah, you definitely got to watch out for Anchorage torpedoes, because these things hurt. Now, for the AA defense, it is pretty good. It's an American heavy cruiser, so you do have some 20mm Oerlikons that shoot out to 2 kilometers with a 58 average damage per second. You have some 28mm Mark II Mod 2s that shoot out to 3.1 kilometers with a 95 average damage per second. And you also have some 127mm guns. You have 2 sets of them, of course. They are actually your secondary batteries, and those secondaries actually count as AA as well. They are dual-purpose guns, which means dual-purpose, meaning they are also AA. They can shoot at planes and they can shoot at ships. That is what a dual-purpose gun is. It can shoot at planes and it can shoot at ships. So that's right. Anyway, moving on to the maneuverability, we have 34 knot speed on my build, 800 meter turning circle radius, which is really bad for a cruiser, and you have an 11-second rudder on my build. Yeah, the maneuverability for the ship, it is very bad. You're going to be having problems potentially kiting around, so you really got to be careful with the Anchorage in terms of, you know, if you're going to be on the move. You want to be watching for your surroundings and paying attention to people who are taking shots at you, because you don't have very good maneuverability to dodge incoming shells. Now for the concealment, we have 11 kilometer range by sea. We've got 6.9 kilometer detectability range by air, and 2 guaranteed with a 6.5 kilometer detectability while firing in smoke. Taking a look at the armor, it is actually pretty standard armor for American heavy cruisers. You have 27mm of bow and stern armor. 27mm is basically plastered all over the ship. So if you guys aren't aware, the Anchorage is capable of ricocheting AP shells up to 15 inches. So Bismarcks, Vanguards will not be able to overmatch the ship with armor piercing. Taking away the bow and stern armor, take a look at the superstructure. Yeah, you have 16mm everywhere. Take that away. For the casemate armor, 25 to 27mm of casemate armor. Take that away. The turret armor is pretty damn good, as usual. And finally, the citadel. You do have a very large and exposed citadel, so if you're not careful, you will get absolutely wrecked. I've actually gotten dev struck twice in this ship so far. I've played about 5 games, so you guys can only imagine. It's rough. You gotta be careful in this ship, especially when you're facing 16-inch guns. Or even if you over-angle, because this has a very long profile, so shells can actually pen you, like, even at this angle. So if you're not directly bow on to your targets, there's a good chance you can absolutely get annihilated. Taking a look at the overview, the ship has superior AP damage, I agree, and it has sticky shots. Yeah, it's 203 American AP, so it's pretty damn good. Anchorage, a heavy cruiser design created under the Project CAB. The ship outmatched the Baltimore-class ships in terms of her size and power, and she also carried torpedo armament. Year of design was 1940. These ships were never actually built, but they were basically paper ships, if you will. And finally, we're going to take a look at the commander build. So we are running Norman Scott. We've got the Miss Santa commander guys on. We have, for our inspirations, Francesco Mambelli and Nikolai Kuznetsov. For our base trait, we have Directed Impact, we have Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated, and Fully Packed. I put Fully Packed on my heavy cruisers, and on my light cruisers, I put on Refill Station. Nonetheless, my Norman Scott is a fully maxed out commander, level 16, Legendary 4. And yeah, I will bring you guys over to the gameplay portion of today's video. I hope you all do enjoy it. Alrighty, so here we are in the Anchorage. Now, I will say right off the bat, this is definitely one of those cruisers that has a lot of potential in terms of firepower. You have 12 8-inch guns, and that right there is something that is pretty juicy. This is basically a Buffalo at tier 7. So, my overall thoughts on it. It has potential, but what I end up finding is I can't utilize all of that potential because my team doesn't want to spot for me. So this is a cruiser that is very dependent on teammate support. It is a smoke cruiser, okay? So right there, you know, you're going to need spotting because you're a smoke cruiser, and you're not always going to get people to spot for you. So I would definitely say that the Anchorage is a better ship to play in a division with. But you can still have very good games in it. I mean, I've had some pretty juicy games. This right here is my best game in terms of damage, so I hope you all do enjoy it nonetheless. But anyway, we have a Turpet spotted here, and he is turning away, so we're not going to really be able to do a whole lot to him. I don't want to open fire yet because I'm pretty broadside, and there's a chance that I could get yeeted because there's a lot of big battleship guns out there. So I'm being careful. You got to be really careful in this ship. But like I said, it has potential. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to open up, and of course right there, over there as well, there is a Georgia. So we got to watch out for that Georgia because, well, the Georgia is absolutely disgusting. Now, first salvo of the game, we get 4 penetrations, 3.6k damage, and we're just going to keep on cycling these guns. So as you guys can see, we're in our smoke screen, we're utilizing it. The smoke screen lasts about 1 minute and 40 seconds, something like that, so about 2 minutes. And you can sit inside your smoke screen and just burn things down. However, like I said, you've got to have spotting from your teammates, so that's already a disadvantage with the Anchorage. But if you get spotting, and if you're able to just get yourself into a position where you can farm people down, it's a great time. Remember, the Anchorage is not a radar cruiser. It is not a radar cruiser, it is a support cruiser. Meaning, it's a support cruiser in terms of firepower. This cruiser, I don't believe, is supposed to be getting up there and being super aggressive. You want to save the aggressive gameplay and the anti-destroyer gameplay for the Baltimores, for the Wichitas. Those ships are actually geared to dealing with destroyers. So this is not one of those ships that is geared to deal with the destroyers. Now you do have sonar, and the sonar is average sonar, so it's a good idea to always pop your sonar if you think there might be torpedoes incoming. It's always a good idea to do that. Now, as you guys can see, we're sending out those 10.5 kilometer torpedoes that go 66 knots on my build. And if one of those torpedoes hits, they hit like a freaking truck. So, yeah. Now, we loaded the AP there on that enemy Maya, and we got 4 overpens and 1 penetration for really not a whole lot of results there, unfortunately. We're up to 18,000 damage so far, and so far the guns, they seem to hit like Wichita guns. They definitely are not the super heavy AP, I don't think, that the Baltimore gets. So I think the guns are a little worse, but they still are pretty damn good. Now, we got a Benham here at 4.2 kilometers, and, well, he's going to have a lot of fun, that's for sure. Now, this is a really dangerous situation to be in because, well, there is a bunch of battleships back there, and we could potentially get absolutely removed from the game. So I'm trying to be careful, but we need to kill this Benham. This Benham is getting absolutely plastered right now, so we're just going to keep on the pressure here, keep pushing him, because if we have our sonar running and we're able to spot him in his smoke screen, he's not able to disengage, and down he goes. That's our first kill of the game. We took out the enemy Benham. That's 1 less torpedo threat to worry about. And yeah, we're going to be able to get up here and utilize his smoke screen. That's right, he actually popped an oh shit smoke screen, so we're going to be able to come up here and utilize it. Now, we got a Maya here that is still just hanging around, not really sure what he's doing. And, of course, we got a Georgia out here that is just sailing around. And we really don't have a lot of spotting over here, unfortunately. Our destroyer right now is in a pretty bad position. So, we're not getting a whole lot of spotting. Now, right now we are getting some decent spotting, which is nice. Thank you, team. So we're able to actually dish out some 203mm hate. But, yeah, now that Maya did just go down, the Bismarck secondaries, I believe, finished him off. And we're just going to be able to just sit here and farm this Georgia. Now, he is pretty broadside, so I'm going to load the armor piercing here and see if we can't get some decent penetrations with the 8-inch American armor piercing here. All 12 of those guns are out, and let's go ahead and see what it does on a broadside Georgia for the most part. And yeah, as you guys can see, that is disgusting. 8 penetrations. We chunked him there. The AP definitely has that American punch to it, that's for sure. I don't think it punches as hard as Baltimore level AP, but it is still pretty damn decent. Now, just like that, we're up to 60,000 damage. We've got a kill, we've got some fires, and basically, guys, that's what the ship's all about. You just kind of sit in your smoke screen and farm people. That's literally what the Anchorage is all about. Now, you can, in theory, you can be a little aggressive against destroyers like we were, fighting earlier. We absolutely pushed in that Benham, But for the most part, like, you know, we mentioned in the review portion, this ship lacks maneuverability. And it turns like a brick, basically. That's the only way I know how to put it. So in aggressive situations, it's not going to perform as good. It's kind of sluggish. That's basically what I have to say here with the Anchorage. It's pretty sluggish, and it is very dependent on island cover and smokescreen cover. Now, I got very lucky there that Georgia did not aim very well, because if he aimed a little far back, he probably would have absolutely annihilated me. We got to remember the Citadel for the Anchorage is pretty damn big, so we got to be careful. We really do. Now we're up to 75,000 damage. We're still just farming this Georgia. This Georgia is not having a fun time whatsoever, and we're making him just, yeah, we're making him regret life decisions, and we are living rent-free in his head right now. He is not having fun. He is still burning. We're up to 85,000 damage, and that's still slowly ticking up. I mean, like I said, man, this ship has potential to just do stupid amounts of damage. The damage output here on this Anchorage is pretty damn spicy. So I do like it. I do like the Anchorage. I still need to play more games in it. I need to probably get a division going and have like a carrier with me to spot, because that would be really nice. Not gonna lie. But yeah, we are up to 90,000 damage now. The damage has stopped ticking, which means the Georgia did put out those fires that I had on them. So there you go. Now, it looks like the Tirpitz is coming out around that island, so I sent some torpedoes out there. You never know, I might actually catch him with one. And we have an Iowa out here. An Iowa that is, well, kind of sailing my way. He's not even looking at us. He's looking behind him, so we're going to be able to potentially sneak some decent little shots off on that Iowa and get some fires just like that. Now, we also have the Tirpitz here. Tirpitz is coming around the island. We're going to shoot at him. And right here, we just got absolutely smacked. The Georgia did just surprise us. Yeah, he's pretty close. So we're going to have to smoke up. We're going to have to stop shooting our guns and pray to God that we can get our torpedoes off. And speaking of torpedoes, we did just hit a torpedo on that enemy battleship, the Tirpitz, and we just got dev struck. Yeah. So, there you go. As you guys can see, this ship tends to blow up in spectacular fashion, especially when battleships with giant 16-inch or 18-inch guns shoot at you. That Iowa dropped a bomb on us, but that one torpedo hit is causing a flood on that Tirpitz, and that Tirpitz is currently flooding, so our damage is still ticking up even after death here. But yeah, you gotta love it. We got a high caliber, we have a kill, we've got a flood, we got a torpedo hit, 135 main battery hits, 8 fire set, and not a bad game in the Anchorage in terms of damage. But basically, to sum this ship up here, it's a support cruiser, man. You gotta be utilizing smoke screens, you gotta be utilizing island cover, because if you don't, you're gonna get absolutely destroyed by ships with 16-inch guns. It's not a good time. But if you can have spotting, if you can have people, you know, spotting for you, like I said, you can just keep raining hellfire down on them. And as you guys can see, I mean, this ship has potential to do stupid things in terms of damage. So I like it so far. I still need to play more games in it. This is one of my first games. I think this was my second game I ever played in the Anchorage, so just keep that in mind. But I will say, this ship has potential. I've said that enough in this video, really. But this ship does have potential to do great things, as you guys can see from the damage number there. Now, all our team needs to do here is just really not die. This is a pretty close game here. We have 319 points. The enemy team has 449 points. And right now, our 2 destroyers here are just... they are just trying to kill this, this Duke of York here. This Duke of York is on a double fire, and down he goes. He was also flooding as well, and it looks like we are now closing in on the points lead here. Both of our destroyers are in the cap. They are actually stopping their points lead, so that's good. We actually still could win this game. And these 2 destroyers are actually going to carry this game. I'm going to go ahead and skip forwards to the end of the game here, just to show you guys that we actually do win this game. Our 2 destroyers actually clutch up here and win the game. Alrighty, so here we are at the end of the game here, As you guys can see, we did lose one of our destroyers, but it doesn't matter because we have the points lead. We're at 440 points. The enemy team is at 407 points. So there you go. We won the game, and it looks like our 2 destroyers clutched up at the end there. Perfect. Fantastic. And just like that, 142,000 damage, high caliber, 135 main battery hits, torpedo hits, 3 incapacitations, 1 kill, 8 fire set, all the things. And we were top of the leaderboard even after death here with 2.5k base XP. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to do it for the Anchorage. I hope you all did enjoy today's video. If you guys did, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. All the support thus far is greatly appreciated. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weeks, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, stay healthy, as always.